You say that belief is the first line of code. How has this applied to your career journey and your life journey?
In very significant ways. I think that there's a book called The Art of War, and I read too many books, so I'm not sure if I'm taking this line out of the right book. But one of the military strategies, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff, is the best way to keep someone to be victorious is to remove your opponent's will to fight. And that's very profound. And when I think about where my parents came from and what they taught us, it's like, don't even try. There's no hope. And it's funny, being exposed to that community and seeing everyone doing, hey, this is what I want to be when I grow up, and what their parents were doing, I began to wonder, well, maybe I can do something too. It's funny, one of my biggest inspirations as a child was a TV show called Family Ties, and there was a character on there played by Michael J. Fox that was Alex P. Keaton, and Alex P. Keaton was a teenager, but he wanted to be a businessman, and even in high school he carried around a briefcase, and he was interested in the stock market and politics, and he was kind of my idol. It's like, I want to be that. And even though my dad was saying, no, you need to go into the military or work at the post office, not that there's anything wrong with military service, but his point was, you can't do what you want to do or even what you think you're supposed to do because of the discrimination and the disparities. But the first line of code, just like the first line of code, every program begins with that first line of code. Between a finished product and nothing, there's that first line of code. And without that first line of code, that product doesn't exist. Likewise, you have to believe that there's a possibility. And I think that's what started to change in my life. I started to wonder, could I maybe do this or do that? And even though that was contradictory to what I've been taught, I started to believe in possibilities. And so I started to have the will to fight, to try. And that's what made the big difference. So the first line of code, believing that there's a possibility that you can, is so critical, because if you don't believe you can, I can guarantee you won't. But if you do, just maybe there's an opportunity there for you.